January 17th was a day to do wind magic. In ancient times, on the 16th and 17th of January, there were festivals in which people would make offerings to the wind gods of each direction. Black lambs were offered as sacrifices to the destructive winds, and white ones were sacrificed to favorable or good winds. And they would do this ritual and offering to the winds every year. I love wind magic. I live on the ocean, I'm right on the sea, and there's always a wind or a breeze. And so for me, this is a sacred day. I like to connect and honor each of the 4 directions. And as I do that, I honor them by giving them a blessing. So I perform a blessing in each one of the directions. It's important for the month of January, well, from January 17th, to start using the 4 winds in magic. Take time to practice some wind magic. In the old days, they would sing and play the wind's 4 quarters. Wind's 4 quarters. This is actually from the short story Sword Sworn in Sword and Sorceress 3, edited by Marion Zimmerman Bradley. It is especially appropriate to be played and sung on the 16th and 17th of January. I wanted to share the lyrics. I'll post the song below so that you can listen to it and learn and use it in your wind magic for today. I like to listen to this. I usually do 3 or more times as I'm preparing my herbs for the offering. And then when I'm finished listening to it, I'll go outside and I'll stand in each direction giving my offering to the wind gods of the 4 directions. Here are the lyrics. Air and fire, earth and water, hear my desire. Grant my plea, who stands alone, maid and warrior, mother and crone. Eastern wind blow, clear, blow clean, cleanse my body of its pain. Cleanse my mind of what I've seen. Cleanse my honor of its strain. Maid whose love has never ceased. Bring me healing from the east. Southern wind blow, hot, blow hard. Fan my courage to a flame. Southern wind be. Guide and guard, add your bravery to my name. Let my will and yours be twined. Warrior of the southern wind, wind's 4 quarters, air and fire, earth and water, hear my desire. Grant my plea, who stands alone, maid and warrior, mother and crone. Western wind blow, stark blow strong. Grant me arm and mind of steel, Let our own both, caught and long, Mother, hear me where I kneel. Let no weakness on my quest hinder me, wind of the west. Northern wind blow, cruel blow cold, sheathe my aching heart in ice all around, my soul enfold. Crone, I need not call you twice, for to my foes bring cold of death. Chill me north wind's frozen breath, wind four quarters, air and fire, earth and water. Hear my desire, grant my plea who stands alone, maid and warrior, mother and crone, maid and warrior, mother and crone. To me, the wind is one of the most powerful energies, influences, and what I use in all of my workings. And in my tradition, we believe that each direction of the wind has a god or a goddess. The south wind is also known as Okaga, and it is a fertility goddess. Taku Skansken is actually known as the master of the four winds. Tate is a wind god in spirit. Wazaya is known as the spirit of the north wind, the one that brings icy weather, but can also bring famine and diseases. The god of the west wind oversees endings and events of the night, and he is known as Waiho Haibayata. There's also Wai'o Yanapa, who is known as the god of the west. No, sorry, the god of the east wind, and he oversees beginnings and the events of our day. There is also a whirlwind god. So whenever we experience whirlwinds, that is yum. But when I practice wind magic, I know that I am tapping into something that is sacred and something that is ancient. But it's also a power that flows through me and everything in the world. Between each atom, there is air. There is space. And so for me, I like to use my January 17th to honor these four directions. The winds that never stop. Whether you feel them or not, they're there. We breathe it. We are it. And they're invisible powers. But the special meanings of each of the four directions are also accompanied by different color, shapes, symbols. And though I'm talking about what I believe in the 4 directions. And this is just a small summary of it because I believe in so much. You have to understand that when it comes to the wind or the air, they are considered gods or deities, even though wind is nothing more than moving air. But in every single culture believed in wind or air gods. And so in magic, we use it too. A natural force. And those who are part of my sacred circle would know why it's so important for us to connect to the power of air. So I want to start with the west wind. The west wind is where the sun sets. So wherever the sun begins to set, the west wind is there. And it represents the day's end. It signifies the end of life, the end of the day. And it's known that the great thunderbird lives in the west. So when we hear thunder, we know it's coming. The thunderbird power. And the west thunderbird sends thunder and rain from its direction, from the west. And for this reason, the west is also known as the source of water, the source of rain, lakes, streams, and rivers. The north brings cold, harsh winds of the winter. But these winds are very cleansing. The lesson is to remember to face these winds. Head into the storm. You'll learn patience and endurance. Generally, the north wind is where we need to connect when we experience hardships and discomfort or struggle, even financial struggle and physical health body struggle. And so the north represents the trials that we must endure and the cleansing that we must do. The yellow is known as the east direction. East is the direction where the sun comes up. The sunrise, and how the light goes and spreads over the earth in the morning. The beginning of a new day. It's also the beginning of a new understanding, because light helps us see things the way they really are. And on a deeper level, East stands for the wisdom of helping people live good lives. Traditional people would rise in the morning, they face east, and they ask the universe for wisdom and understanding. And every day, I light my smudge to the east. I watch the sunrise. I can tell by the colors of the sunrise, where the clouds are, how they're going, what kind of day I'm going to have. And one thing that I love is that the old ancient people, many of them believed that nighttime was the space between the gods and the people, and that you were neither dead or alive. You were in between that space. But when they woke up the next day, they always held so much honor in their day, so much connection to nature, because they felt that the only time of growth, the only time to gain wisdom and to manifest your life could only be done in the day. And most of us, 12 hours a day, I probably live 16 hours of daytime. But they would honor it when the West would come activated, when the sun started to set. They would understand that now they're going into that place. So East is a place where we can ask the universe for wisdom and understanding. And the South, the southern wind. And the South is when the sun is at its highest. So this direction stands for warmth and growing. The sun's rays are powerful, drawing life from the earth. It is said that all things, the life of all things, come from the South. And it's always warm and pleasant winds that come. It was always believed in the old days that when people passed into the spirit world, they traveled the Milky Way, the path of the Milky Way back to the south. And then they returned from where they came.